Welcome back to the 90 Podcast. My name is Ghazi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Is there a crisis at Manchester United? They have a player that has been suspended indefinitely. That is Antony. They have a player who is actually fighting with the manager. That is Jadon Sancho. And now Manchester United are trying to sign a panic buy in Elghazi. The big question is Erik ten Hag being let down by the Glazers? Is Erik ten Hag being disappointed by Manchester United? And is there a crisis at United? Will Man United survive this campaign? Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Manchester United fans, talk to me in the comment box below. Is there crisis at your club? And where do you see Manchester United after this campaign? After all this fiasco, Antony, Jadon Sancho, and Elghazi, panic buys, injuries, what is going on at this club, right? So let's dive into it. Let's start off with Jadon Sancho. The big story, of course, is that Erik ten Hag did call Jadon Sancho today in his office. They had a round of talks to talk about the future of the player, but also to talk about what is actually going on. Why is Jadon Sancho not playing, and what exactly is the solution? Is it that Jadon Sancho wants to leave, or is there Erik ten Hag ready to give Jadon Sancho a second chance? Now, at the moment, we do not know the full details, and we do not have the full disclosure of what happened between Jadon Sancho and Erik ten Hag in that meeting, but this is what I can say. Number one, Jadon Sancho has told the manager that he wants to play on the left wing and not on the right wing. Now, there is a big problem there, and the big question for Sancho is he's got to ask himself this question: can I go in before Garnacho? Can I go in before Marcus Rashford? You look at Manchester United, the biggest talents at this club are playing at the left wing. That is Marcus Rashford, for me, the most important player at Manchester United and the most important attacker, the most important part of that attack at Manchester United. That is Marcus Rashford. You look at Alejandro Garnacho and you look at his development and you look at what he has done ever since getting that opportunity from Erik ten Hag. There is no way, there is no evidence to suggest that Jadon Sancho deserves to start ahead of Garnacho. There is no evidence that Jadon Sancho deserves to start on the left wing ahead of players like Alejandro Garnacho and Marcus Rashford. So there's a big question there, and there's a big problem. If the player wants to play and the player is willing to cooperate and serve under Erik ten Hag, but then he wants to serve only as a left winger, as manager, what do you do? As manager, how do you handle that? In my opinion, Jadon Sancho is making himself and his life very difficult at Man United. If there are two players that are really ahead of you, the one thing I would think, and the thing I would actually assume, is you actually take the opportunity which is availing itself on the right-hand side of that attack. So with Antony now suspended for a long period of time, indefinitely, we do not know whether Man United will actually bring him back in the squad. You look at all the other options that Manchester United have in that area. Facundo Pellistri, good player, but still very young, and Antony could actually seize that opportunity. I don't understand why he insists that he wants to play on the left. I don't understand why Antony would go, why Jadon Sancho would go. If it is not on the left-hand side, I am not happy, and therefore I'm not representing Manchester United. Then the second thing for me, Jadon Sancho. Could this be a clear example of what Nicolas Pepe did at Arsenal when Bukayo Saka slowly but surely overtook Nicolas Pepe in the pecking order to become one of the best wingers in world football, as Nicolas Pepe got his contract terminated at the Emirates Stadium? And this could be a classic example of that. Jadon Sancho is coming from Borussia Dortmund with huge expectations and with high expectations. Many Manchester United fans love him, and I don't think they are wrong about that. I don't think Jadon Sancho is a bad player whatsoever. Whichever way you think about him, whichever way, whatever you've heard about him, Jadon Sancho is a quality player. But if players like Facundo Pellistri get ahead of him, if players like Alejandro Garnacho get in front of him in pecking order, and the manager establishes a real connection between his midfield and the attack with Garnacho and Marcus Rashford and Facundo Pellistri, it will be over for Jadon Sancho. Now, there are talks about Sancho leaving in January and Sancho will never play for Manchester United again. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think if you're Erik ten Hag, you want to play Jadon Sancho. There's already a crisis at the club with Antony and whatever is going on around him. You don't want to deepen the crisis. You don't want to deepen the negative publicity by then dropping Jadon Sancho. It will only escalate the situation. It will only make the matters worse. So I think Ten Hag, as the brilliant guy, as the brilliant manager that I know he is, he will not drop Jadon Sancho, right? Courtesy of whatever's happened following the aftermath of the player coming out and saying, well, the manager is not playing me because of personal reasons, non-footballing reasons, and not performance-related reasons, I don't think Jadon Sancho will be dropped by the manager. I think the manager is a very smart guy, and I trust in Erik ten Hag. Jadon Sancho will start the Brighton game. He will have a part to play in the Brighton game. Just to clarify and just to show that there is no dressing room crisis at the moment, and there is nothing going on between the players and the manager, right? It is very important for Man United to communicate that the players and the manager are on the same page at the same pace. It's going to be very crucial. They have the UEFA Champions League coming up. It's a huge clash against Bayern Munich, but then you've got to remember they have to play Brighton before that game and then Burnley after that game. You cannot afford to have the luxury of wrangles and riots within your squad. So Jadon Sancho, that is what is going on. With Antony, there is a lot of information coming out. I don't want to condemn him and I don't want to exonerate him because I don't have the powers, but it looks like he's going to be out for a long time. Man United fans, you will have to wait another maybe 5 months or even another year before you can actually hear the real verdict of what Manchester United will have decided for the case of Antony. So without Antony, without Jadon Sancho, where do Manchester United go? They have decided to go to the market. They have decided to go to the free market, and the player they're looking at is a Dutch/Moroccan winger, Antony Elghazi. Now, Antony Elghazi is a player that has played in the Premier League with Aston Villa, 28 years of age, electric, really good player, but not for Manchester United in my opinion. So according to the reports coming out, Sky Sports have confirmed that Manchester United are considering the option of signing Antony Elghazi just to deal with a short-term crisis on the wing. Is it a panic buy? Absolutely. If there is a true definition of panic buy, if there is a clear indication that something or a deal is a panic buy, this is a panic buy. Man United, they've not scouted Antony Elghazi. They've not given this guy time. He was never on their transfer shortlist, and I understand the ability to react as a club. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be very good. I mean, if they can bring him in just for squad depth, register him in time for the UEFA Champions League, if they can actually do that, it's going to be phenomenal. But is he a panic buy? He is a panic buy, and it's going to be a wastage of resources. And Manchester United will actually be looking at themselves and they will go, did we need a new winger in the summer? The answer is yes. Did we buy a new winger in the summer? The answer is no. So it's poor recruitment. It's going to be very, very poor management from Manchester United if they get Antony Elghazi. But what's the other option? Do Man United really have any other option apart from Antony Elghazi? At the moment, I'm not really sure they have options. I mean, Ansu Fati was available. They could have gone for him on loan. I think that would have been a very, very good deal. But now without options, I kind of feel Antony Elghazi, it's him or nothing. And I think it's better to have Antony Elghazi over nothing. A player who doesn't get into Aston Villa. So you look at the elite attackers Aston Villa brought in: Moussa Diaby, Leon Bailey, Jacob Ramsey, of course, you know, kind of academy product, Joe McGinn. So you look at those players, and it's the reason why they decided Antony Elghazi will be moving on. You look at players like Nicolo Zaniolo in that Aston Villa side. And then when they let go of Antony Elghazi, Man United cannot be the club saying we will take him in. I don't think Manchester United should be taking the rejects of Aston Villa. It should be the other way around if it was to happen in any case. So Antony Elghazi for me, yes, good option rather than nothing, but I don't think it's a good signing. I don't think Manchester United are performing at the level we know them to. The Manchester United that we have rivaled, personally as an Arsenal fan, is the Manchester United that signs Dimitar Berbatov, Michael Carrick, Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, Carlos Tevez. Where is one attribute that Antony Elghazi shares with that class of players? One attribute. I mean, it shows how Manchester United have really, really fallen into a very big ditch. And how do they get themselves out of that? I actually do not know. I really, really do not know. Now, is Erik ten Hag being let down by Manchester United? Is Erik ten Hag right to feel abandoned? Is Erik ten Hag right to feel lied to? Is Erik ten Hag right to feel that whatever Manchester United sold to him as a dream, it is not coming true? And they are not taking the right steps in the right direction to actually have these dreams actually come true. So if you're an elite manager at a club like Ajax, you want to leave Ajax because of one or two reasons. Ajax are not going to give you the resources to compete at the topmost level. So you cannot compete with Bayern, you cannot compete with Madrid when you're at Ajax. They cannot give you hundreds of millions to spend. Manchester United surely have done that for managers, and therefore they can do it. They have the muscle to give you the money to spend to compete with the big boys. Number two, you leave Ajax because whatever kind of successful projects in terms of players you build, they will sell. So look at that Erik ten Hag side and look at the players he's built that have been sold. Frankie de Jong has gone, Matthias de Ligt has gone, Ryan Gravenberch has gone, Lisandro Martinez has gone, Julian Timber has gone, Sebastian Haller has gone. Could mention as many players as can. So you go to Manchester United because you want to build a career, you want to become a top level manager, and therefore you want to go to a club that attracts talent rather than a club that lets go of talent. That is the model Man United have to run. That is the model that Manchester United ought to run. So for me, the question is, if you're attracting Anwar Elghazi, if you're attracting that caliber of players, if you're getting that quality of players for a manager like Erik ten Hag, who has taken you back to the Champions League, thinking you're going to give him a super window, thinking you're going to give him an absolute classic window for him to compete in the UEFA Champions League, and then you give him Anwar Elghazi on a free, I think Erik ten Hag is right to feel he's being lied to. And Man United, for me, I've said this and I'll say it again, there is no manager that will handle Manchester United's problems like Erik ten Hag. Now, many people have actually said he's a problem, he has a big ego, he's too clean for their liking. That is why Man United hired Erik ten Hag. If Erik ten Hag comes in and he leads the decline of a player like Bruno Fernandes, I would understand. If he comes in and leads the decline of a player like Marcus Rashford, I would understand. But the players that Erik ten Hag has gotten rid of, Harry Maguire has declined before Erik ten Hag. Cristiano Ronaldo was a problem and he was gotten rid of. And Jadon Sancho has never played any good football, even under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the manager that actually signed him. So for me, I think the problem at Man United is the mindset and the mentality and the way they actually do their things. They are no longer an ambitious club. They are no longer a real club. They're no longer a real top club in the way they do their business, right? They cannot do business early. They cannot do good business. They cannot fight with the best clubs for the best talents. And Man United really still a top side. Are they still really one of the clubs you think about and you're like, United, they're the team to beat this campaign? So Anwar Elghazi is the player that Manchester United are looking at. Jadon Sancho and Antony are still having problems to solve. Man United are resorting to the free market. Is Anwar Elghazi a good signing? Let me know in the comment box below. It's the 90 More Podcast. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on X, formerly Twitter. You can also find us on Facebook at the 90 More Podcast. And I'll speak to you right in the next one.